Hello and welcome to another episode of Power and Diplomacy in Pre-Colonial Africa. My name is Adebayo Olowo-Ake. In the previous podcast, we examined the birth and exploits of Sundiata, the African emperor who proclaimed the very first human rights charter in the world. He was an emperor of Mali. Given all of his monumental achievements, which included repositioning Mali to benefit from its strategic location, which saw it straddle the trade route between the Arabs and African merchants, collecting taxes from this endeavor into the treasury of the empire, extracting and exporting salt, and exploiting the gold fields of Ghana, as well as leveraging this huge income to fund education, no one would have expected that there will be another emperor who could do better than Emperor Sundiata. Well, let's try and find out if this ever happened and if indeed there was another emperor bigger or that came close to the great Sundiata. We will do so by going back in time to relive the times and the life of another great African political figure in pre-colonial times, the great Emperor Mansa Musa Keita I, popularly and simply known as Mansa Musa. Emperor Sundiata was a great uncle of Emperor Mansa Musa. However, the latter did not ascend to the throne immediately after his uncle's rule. Rather, the royal court of Mali was occupied by another remarkable leader known as Sakura. A former royal court slave, Sakura emerged onto the throne in 1285 AD and reigned as emperor in a grand rule that saw him expand the territory of Mali, becoming one of the empire's greatest rulers in the process. When the throne became vacant after Emperor Sakura's rule, Mansa Musa was crowned emperor in 1312 AD, and he would rule until 1337, a solid 25 years on the throne. In those 2.5 decades, Mansa Musa transformed Mali in both geometric and arithmetic proportions. He grew its economy several times over, and he expanded its geographical territory by absorbing smaller kingdoms and communities lying along the upper River Nile region. Indeed, the empire covered a great part of West Africa when it held sway between the 13th and the 17th centuries. And Mansa Musa ensured that it was supremely secure and impregnable. The empire under him was made rich by the diverse culture of its peoples and the enormous resources within its territorial space. Emperor Mansa Musa's statecraft is better appreciated when one considers the fact that he absorbed most of what would later constitute the great empire of Songhai and enhanced the commercial appeal of his cities of Gao and Timbuktu. The Mali Empire thrived on the strength of the fact that the key trade routes in West Africa were located on its territory, as were vast amounts of gold and copper, which were mined from the mines annexed by his great uncle, Emperor Sundiata Keita. They included the Ashanti gold fields in the Ghana Empire. To exploit all these resources was a multi-ethnic population that was as cosmopolitan as it was industrious. the riches of the Mali Empire were put on full display for the benefit of the whole world when Mansa Musa embarked on a pilgrimage to Mecca in 1324, during which he was said to have been accompanied by 6 divisions of his army, totaling 60,000 soldiers, as well as civil servants and palace officials. The stores and logistics and resources deployed to ensure a successful pilgrimage by him and his entourage included hundreds of pounds of gold, borne on the back of several dozen camels and horses. His pilgrimage, underwritten by such a lavish display and expenditure, reportedly caused the economy of Saudi Arabia to spiral into inflation. The strength of the economy of Mali under Mansa Musa and the graphic display of its wealth caused some scholars at the time to suggest that Mali probably had the richest economy in the whole world. Later on in the life of the empire, the excellent growth trajectory it experienced would be rudely disrupted after the death of Emperor Mansa Musa. His successors could not maintain effective control over the empire due to weak leadership and perennial squabbling over succession issues, even though some form of stability was maintained by the effective court system that had been established by the erstwhile Mansa Musa. Historians agree that things eventually fell apart for the empire after 1388 AD, when there were no more heirs to the throne from Mansa Musa's lineage. This paved the way for external forces to have a field day. Thus, Tuareg nomads and the emerging Songhai Empire began to systematically carve up parts of its territory for themselves. By 1670 AD, what was left of the great African savanna empire of Mali had succumbed unceremoniously to Moroccan invasion, and she suffered a pathetic defeat. And with this, we have come to the end of this podcast. Remember to add in the section below any comments you think can help our understanding of this topic, or to include any information you think may have been omitted. Join me in the next podcast as we explore the reign of another great ruler in pre-colonial Africa, when the Griot's mic talks about power and diplomacy in pre-colonial Africa. Until then, it's bye for now.